Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. In this video, we're going to take a look at our SEC Chairman Gary Gensler on Fox Business with Liz, and then we're also going to be talking about what Senator Warren has said in regards of a bill, her writing a bill in regards of the crypto space. So we're going to quickly jump into CoinGecko here. We're currently sitting at a $2.07 trillion market cap, currently up 5.3% for the day. Looking at the top 10, Bitcoin sitting at 44,148, Ethereum sitting at 3,114, Tether's Tether, Binance Coin sitting at 428. XRP sitting at 83 cents. Cardano's sitting at $1.09. Solana's at $101. Terra sitting at $56. And Avalanche have flipped Polkadot and sitting at $90. Coming over here to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, we're still in this 46 range. So just as similar as yesterday. So there's still a little bit of fear and uncertainty in the market. And that's due to a lot of different variables. But quickly jumping in, I want to start this video with this. It says, this is from Johnny Dean. He says, so just yesterday, we covered the PSA to critics of XRP, and we covered his thread, which was a great thread. And he says the truth should matter. And he's talking about his thread down here. It says equals facts. The thread down here equals facts. Objectively, read the facts and then try to argue the SEC is acting in good faith. You can't. So he's been tweeting a lot about like, hey, no one has opposed the timeline that we set. No one's came to defend their side or their position in regards of, them being exposed on the timeline as the Ethereum free pass timeline. So it's like he's throwing out all these facts, but no one's arguing against it. So that just goes to show you, hey, we have the truth on our side, and it's quite evident. Continuing on here, digital asset investor had tweeted this, and I thought it was hilarious. It says, hey, Gary Gensler, I need to know what Ethereum is as an investor. Your job is to protect me. According to Joseph Lubin, Ethereum is Ethereum 1.0 is just a toy or proof of concept. Sounds dangerous. Protect me, please. So we're going to take a listen in to see what Joseph Lubin has said about Ethereum 1.0.
And I think the narrative around Ethereum has evolved so much more dramatically. And I think we knew from the start that we were essentially building an incredibly complicated machine, but that it was ultimately really a toy, a proof of concept, Ethereum 1.0, a very sophisticated proof of concept that would enable us to understand what decentralized applications are. And
so that goes, that's just not a great look. So you have, the SEC coming after Ripple for, XRP being a security. And then you look at how XRP was rolled out versus how Ethereum was rolled out in an ICO manner. And then you have obviously these private investors that try to hide their purchases. And you have the Ethereum free pass speech with William Hinman and just all this shenanigans going on behind closed doors, just a bunch of shady stuff. So then you have Joseph Lubin saying, oh, Ethereum 1.0 was a toy, a proof of concept, very complex. That's now we're converting into Ethereum 2.0. So we're going to offer pretty much like we're going to offer another security. And then in past videos, which we had showed, he literally stated that Ethereum 1.0 or Ether was a demo. So it's like you so-called are out here to protect investors, which you can't even answer the question of whether Ethereum is a security or not. In any interview that you're given, and anytime you're asked it, you kind of give a roundabout answer. And now you have one of the co-founders of Ethereum talking about, oh, it was a toy, a proof of concept, or it was a demo. But you're so-called set out, there to, protect those investors that you're set out to protect. You're not protecting investors. So I want to, thank Digital Asset Investor for kind of posting this up because it's so true. So coming over here, Eleanor Terr was kind of giving a heads up, says, hey, XRP Army, Gary Gensler himself will be joining Liz Klayman on Fox Business this afternoon. And then she said, Charles Gasparino will be on right after to debrief. Tune in. So Coining 203 had put up some of the highlights within the interview here with Chairman Gensler. This is Liz. So we're going to take a listen and see what he has to say.
Is filed with against Ripple XRP. And again, without commenting on specifics, because I know you don't, what's the SEC's theory on certain elements of the crypto world that are considered securities, which would subject them to the SEC's stricter purview, versus currencies which are not held to that kind of purview?
So it's pretty straightforward, actually, is that in the 1930s, after the collapse of the markets and the public getting defrauded, there was a basic bargain, and Congress wrote with a very broad brush the definition of security. And they included like 32 different terms. And amongst those terms, the conceptual framework was the public investing money anticipating profits on the efforts of others. And the Supreme Court in the 1940s and multiple times since then have had the same approach. My predecessor, Jay Clayton, said it as well as I could say it, that in looking at these tokens, it's rare to find one that isn't doing that. The public is investing, hoping for a profit based on the efforts of some other group.
Okay, but that's with any investment. There is that caveat emptor, buyer beware element to all of the stock market. What confuses a lot of people, Gary, and if you could really clarify here, is, where do you draw the line, the distinction between what is a security and what is an actual currency? Example A, what Ripple did, selling XRP to build out its underlying blockchain network, no different than example B, Ethereum floating an ICO, a coin offering to help its underlying Ethereum blockchain. There is no difference, a lot of people say.
None. So Liz, you started by saying you weren't going to ask me about specific cases. And so if I can help the audience.
I said example A, example B.
Yeah, but I help the audience know that it's not, I'm not really allowed to talk about specific cases, but it's pretty straightforward. Raise money from the public, as you say. You have a basic bargain of full and fair disclosure and anti-fraud.
Floating an ICO, a coin offering to help its underlying Ethereum blockchain. There is no difference, a lot of people say.
None. So Liz, you started by saying you weren't going to ask me about specific cases. And so if I can help the audience.
I said example A, example B.
Yeah, but I help the audience know that it's not, I'm not really allowed to talk about specific cases, but it's pretty straightforward. Raise money from the public, as you say. You have a basic bargain of full and fair disclosure and anti-fraud protections, and you register with the government agency called the Securities and Exchange Commission. And that's really what we're trying to do, is help continue with that basic bargain. We're technology neutral. If people want to invest or speculate in this field, then these tokens and, most importantly, the platforms, the trading and lending platforms, come in, register, do it within the law, not trying to skirt the law.
Okay, we've got so much more to talk about. I do want to quickly ask you about payment for order flow. This, of course, was an issue that came to the...
So just a couple things here. So as you can see, he's still giving these roundabout answers to these questions, even though she tried to paint it in like, she kind of gave him like a roundabout question while trying to get some more information. So here's the thing that's concerning is like, at what point are you going to step out of your comfort zone as an interviewer to, apply some pressure and hold, these representatives, of these agencies, government agencies accountable? So, she was talking about, without commenting on specifics, because I know you won't do it, which she understands that he's not, but like, why not pressure him? Yeah, you did try to, formulate the, scenario A versus scenario B. How are they different? And he still gave that, oh, well, I'm not allowed to talk about specifics, and, I can't talk about specific cases. Like, okay, what do you mean you're not allowed? You are the chairman of the SEC. What do you mean you're not allowed to talk about specifics? I mean, when our former SEC chairman was, clear to give his opinion on specifics, or even representatives within the SEC giving specifics on, a particular digital asset, hint, hint, Bitcoin and Ethereum. So like, why now? Here's my question is like, okay, he said, I'm not allowed to talk about specific cases. So the fact that he won't talk about, if XRP and Ethereum, like, okay, so obviously XRP is in litigation right now with Ripple versus SEC. So he kind of put those both in the same category. So is he hinting at, a potential, case, with Ethereum and, how it came about with its ICO? That's my question. And then at the end, as you can see, he had thrown in, bringing these so-called trading platforms into compliance. So he's talking about the trading and lending. And just like we've seen in our past videos from just yesterday, we were talking about how they're going after all these platforms. You have a BlockFi with $100 million, settlement with the SEC. So they're coming after everybody. And the fact that this gentleman, who is the head and chair of our SEC, can't give, any clear guidance as to what is or what's not security to and give the investors the knowledge they need to make important investment decisions is absolutely sickening. You're not there to protect the investors because you're leaving everything ambiguous and just painting everything, as he says, with a broad stroke. It's like, no, we need to know specifics so we can make informed decisions when it comes to our investments. So continuing on here, Charles Gasparino says, watch Liz Klayman's interview with Chair Gensler. Interesting how divorced from reality he is. He's worried about unregistered XRP, PFOF, block trading, ESG disclosures when Fed's money pumping created dozens of new assets classes that will blow up in investors if and when Fed tightens. And then he comes over here. Charles Gasparino also says, interesting takeaway from Chairman Gensler's talk with Liz Klayman on the difference between Ethereum's Ether and what Ripple did with XRP. He wouldn't comment. SEC generally doesn't comment on investigations, which means maybe they are weighing an Ether case. So that's kind of what I was thinking based off of what he said. So Charles Gasparino is kind of hitting at the same thing. So is there going to be a potential Ether case? Who knows? We know that there's a lot of shady stuff going on behind the scenes when it comes to that Ethereum free pass. Tag XRP had put up a good thread here, and this is kind of his taking his opinion on kind of what's going on. He says, I made my decision. If Liz doesn't ask Chair Gensler any tough questions today that represent the public, I'm unfollowing her. This may sound petty, but why give these people any recognition if they aren't going to hold the public officials accountable? I totally agree. So he says, 1 follower lost. 2, won't make an impact, but if thousands of us decide to stand up against news outlets that are protecting these public officials with conflicts of interest, then that's a loud statement. I'm sick and tired of the same old interview from Chair Gensler and the incumbents. He says, let's stop giving these people our valuable time and attention if they refuse to give us any of theirs. If they're not going to help us make the world a better place, then I want no part of them. So, you can tell there's a lot of emotion and hurt behind this tweet thread here, but I absolutely agree. It's just like, at what point are you going to have, more people like Eleanor Terry and Charles Gasparino of these, mainstream news media outlets, come out and kind of share the truth, not in a biased way, just get the information that's out there and try to get to the truth to see what's going on, bring light to what's going on with this SEC versus Ripple stuff. Coming out here, I saw something. This person had a good tweet reply here. He says, this is from XRP Sand. He says, as much as I want her to ask all those questions we all want to ask, we do know that she is most likely not allowed to ask those questions as to why Gensler agreed to come on Fox News. She would get fired if she goes off script. Let's all be honest here. So, absolutely. We all understand that. But at some point, you got to realize, okay, she did try. She did, give the A and B scenario to kind of see if he can kind of give a roundabout. He's not an idiot. He's not going to sit here and be fooled by her roundabout question. He's just going to continue to give his roundabout answer. But, I mean, that is a good point. Who knows, what specific script she had to stick with. But the whole point is just like, at some point, someone's going to have to step out of their comfort zone, step out of their, the chains or shackles that they're held by, and apply pressure and accountability. Obviously, us within this community, the crypto community and the Twitterverse, are posting videos and putting up their own words and them on video. Just the scandal that's happening within the background. We're all surfacing it, trying to hold them accountable, but it can only go so far. We need, the Charles Gasparinos and Eleanor Terrets and then, the Empower Oversight people to really step up like they are. But we need more and more to apply pressure to, the SEC and these government officials that aren't really out to, protect the industry or the investors. So JV had put up a good tweet here. It says, Congress needs to put guardrails around the crypto. And I'm writing a bill just to do that. So that's a quote from our senator here. So let's take it in. This is Elizabeth Warren.
Because I don't want monitoring to be a way to just avoid doing your job. In your testimony before the House Financial Services last week, you suggested that FSOC should not and would not act ahead of Congress. That's something the crypto industry might find comforting, but it is not consistent with FSOC's mission. Did you misstate something last week?
So what I intended to say, I did see that, is FSOC has a responsibility to look at the tools it has.
Well, not just to look, but to use.
They can apply And the situation is developing very quickly. And so how different tools would apply, it's a little bit difficult to prejudge how they would be used.
Okay, but you are willing to use them ahead of Congress?
If that is the case and it is assessed that they are a systemic risk that needs to be addressed.
Well, not that they are a systemic risk. Remember what it says on the website, before that risk has reached fruition. You know, I worry that you're approaching the crypto market with blinders on. You talk a lot about the benefits of stable coins, benefits that have been promised for years and that have still not materialized. And all the while, you are not talking about the risks that are flashing bright red in our faces here. Congress needs to put guardrails around crypto, and I'm writing a bill to do just that. But there's no reason to delay. Pointing a finger at Congress does not give you or FSOC the right to ignore your current statutory responsibilities. Thank you. I apologize for running over, Mr.
I mean, I thought she was kind of rude, to be honest, cutting her off and just kind of was condescending. But yeah, I'm writing a bill to do just that. Okay, well, Johnny Deaton had to weigh in on that. He says, I'm going to make a prediction that her bill will allow accredited investors to participate in some manner, but shut the door on those that are not. I hope I'm wrong. The system is rigged to keep the downtrodden down. So digital asset investors talked a lot about it. I've talked about it on my channel as well. It's like, you know, it seems like that could be a reality. You know, what if certain, you know, assets within the space, or even all assets, I mean, who knows? But what if this space is, you know, overregulated in the sense to where they only allow accredited investors to take place in? I know me in particular, I'm not an accredited investor. I'm just an everyday retail investor. So it's like, are you going to, you know, shut me out with the, you know, other millions of retail investors that are in this space and just allow accredited investors? And isn't that like been a problem within, you know, our everyday lives over the past few decades? You know, accredited investors being the only ones able to participate in, you know, seed fundraising, you know, private investing in regards of, you know, new emerging companies or technology, kind of leaving all the other millions of people just kind of wait until it hits the IPO and then they kind of just dump on us. I don't know. We'll see. We know that Senator Warren is one of those members in our government that has reservations against the crypto space. So we'll see. And I thought this was pretty hilarious. So we covered Carl the Moon, and he had that video talking about XRP going to zero. With, I think, and he said Bitcoin's going to 10 million or something with Da Vinci J. And now he tweeted saying, should I buy XRP with the eyes emojis? And there was a bunch of stuff that came through this thread, but I wanted to cover a few. It says, nah, this is from Tag XRP. It says, nah, XRP is a poop coin. It's completely centralized just because Ripple holds a bunch. I'd stay away. And then he had quote tweeted Johnny Deaton's PSA that we covered yesterday for XRP critics. And then someone said, watch out. These people don't understand sarcasm. And then there's just a bunch of like Broback Mountain stuff. No, just keep loving. And then they have Da Vinci J here. And then, yeah. Yeah, and we'll just leave that there. But anyways, I thought it was hilarious. You know, who knows what the Moon, you know, Carl from the Moon is doing. You know, he could be trolling. Who knows? He could be a heavy investor. I know he's friends with BitBoy Crypto, and BitBoy Crypto had converted. He went from not liking Ripple and XRP to talking about it, loving it, putting a massive investment in XRP. So who knows? Carl could just be trolling, and he could have a nice bag of XRP. Who knows? But I just kind of wanted to cover kind of what's been going on so far. But with all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.